Maybe that's what they're going in on. But like now they have no damage, and now there's a Medusa in the game, and you have no damage. Ah.
And TB's banned, so who are the big carries you want to play? I think you have to pick your carry now. Do they AM? Like, what else do you have against Medusa? Drow Ranger, Drow Undying Lane, maybe?
No, I feel like AM gets like booty slapped in lane by Necro.
Yeah.
You also have this problem now where because you picked heroes like this, if your damage is probably all going to come from like your carry and mid, and Bane is in play. So Bane is going to be able to just grip one of your big cores and really like halve your damage.
Yeah. There you go, the Drow. I think this is the pick that makes the most sense, and if you don't pick your carry here, there's Medusa answers, which are, we haven't seen Drow necessarily be the end-all be-all of, like, on paper it's a Medusa counter. In practice, Medusa's just a more meta hero.
Honestly, I'll say it. Fnatic are cowards for not picking Sniper.
I was legit thinking that this was, they made Sniper here.
Yeah.
If this was, you know, the teams who have the bravery to pick Sniper, SEA Div 2 teams. I've seen multiple snipers down there, and they're owning with Sniper.
In Europe East, they were Sniper pickers too.
Yeah. I think Sniper would be sick here.
So they literally don't have any catch whatsoever, and nothing that threatens him in lane. No catch, no jump. It's like T1's lineup is seriously lacking.
I would have loved it.
But Drow's just, I mean, Drow's good too.
Yeah, it's exactly. I think it's the hero. I guess if they saved that character last, Drow would get banned, and that's where it's like, come on, they gotta pick Sniper here. But potentially just something Raven has not practiced or scrimmed with, and you're in this game 3 decider. Fnatic was saying in their kind of matchup video before, like, we're going to the major, but they wanted to beat one of T1 or Boom because it's there's this clear top 3 in SEA with those 3 teams, and they don't want to be number 3, so they're hoping that after losing the Boom, they really want to take down T1.
Right, Raven is like notorious for not being able to play high skill heroes. So like Sniper, who's probably one of the hardest carries in Dota, it would have been weird to pick him without practice.
No, it's the opposite. He only plays high skill heroes. He plays Lone Druid. He plays Arc Warden. He doesn't play the low skill.
That was the joke, Parker. That was the joke. I called Sniper high skill.
Okay.
I was
Look,
so did you not just roast me for not playing Dota and I understood the joke?
This is my analyst.
It's alright, Sheep. I understood you. I just didn't laugh.
Oh, that's even worse. Alright, so T1 could really benefit from some jump right now. Maybe a Call Tusk. Call Tusk, anyone?
Ooh.
Call Tusk, give?
That seems like a cool pick.
That would be awesome.
You don't know your mid matchup, but you banned out some of like the co-op, the lane dominator.
Damn it.
Tango, that's also pretty cool though.
Okay. Well, they can just pick like... Oh, dude, Lena's still in the pool.
I was just about to mention that.
You always mention Lena.
I
every
really
game.
like Lena. It's you and your Sand King and you and your Meepo, and let me have one hero, okay? One. Let me have Lena.
At least I have variety. I have 2. You never know what one I'm going to suggest.
All right.
So true.
You got 15 minutes to do a Lena speech.
Go ahead.
15
You
minutes.
don't. You got like 15 seconds.
Lena's
Lena.
really good mid off lane and pos 4. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
Okay. And?
No, that's it. That was 15 seconds.
That was not 15 seconds. That was pathetic.
He's just that efficient.
So anyway, they took away Meepo's Geo Strike, which was also a brutal nerf to the hero.
Meepo? They're not picking
Wait,
Meepo.
I do want to talk about that Lena. I am surprised she does still get picked so often because I think we did the maths on her stacks, and even though you get more stacks overall, she still has less.
Run out of time. Ember Spirit, let's go!
Yeah, Ember Spirit! Let's bring in Ares and Fog. And
Nat's so sick of us.
they can please save me. Anything, just say anything, Ares, please.
Okay, it's alright. I'll cover your tracks here. This is, I don't know what's going on. We got, it's a Carl Necrophos, so I was actually expecting it to be Carl playing the Pangoli. I think this is an exceptional Pango pick, giving them everything they needed. A way to initiate. You don't care about arena. You get on top of the Drow. So I'm hyped for Pango overall for Cuckoo and Fnatic's draft. This is a... I'm concerned. Double supports don't do much. I feel like they just have to run over this game.
Is there anything else you want to add on top of that one, Fogged?
I think it's... I'm really liking T1's draft. I mean, I feel like I curse teams quite a bit lately whenever I say I really like someone's draft, but I think them even moving this Necrophos is really clever because they see the Ember last pick, so now they can move it mid, and Necro versus Ember has been one of those counter matchups for a long time in mid lane. Yeah, this looks like a really solid draft from start to finish, and I think the Pango last pick is perfect. So,
which draft do you guys enjoy on the panel more? And my question for this last game of the day is, at what minute will the first tower go down? Yeah.
Looking at these droughts, that's
Yep.
a hard
Make
one.
him think.
10
Quickly.
No.
10 minutes and
Alright.
team.
Oh wait, no, like 8. No.
I'm gonna need you to hurry
9
up. You got
minutes.
5
6
seconds.
minutes T1.
7 minutes. I'll just go against you, Fnatic.
Perfect. I like it when they
Haha.
disagree. But Eric, the same question for you guys as we head into game 3 between T1 and Fnatic.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of T1's draft. I think they got a bit of an edge in this game 3. I think with regards to towers, it might be a little bit delayed. I'm gonna go about, we'll go like 10 minutes 47. I think second catapult timing is what we're looking for.
Okay. I could see. Do I do the bold prediction? I'm like 7-minute mid tower, 6.5 mid tower for the Necro.
Let's go with it.
Yeah, screw it, why not? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I think that the matchup versus the Necro versus Ember, it used to be worse for the Ember, where he had to go like Flame Guard. He couldn't push lane out without Slight. Now Slight, you can actually push lane back a little bit versus Necrophos, but the matchup is still very hard. So Carl, that's why we see them switch the matchup. They put that Necro into mid. They will have to sack their Pango a little bit into that matchup top versus Undying and Drow Ranger is what it looks like it's going to be, but I think that's a pretty good... pretty good concept to do so for when you have your Necro in such a good matchup mid. And yeah, the Medusa pick looked really solid. The real only counter that she has to worry about is that Drow, of course. But versus everything else, it's really good. I guess Mars Arena is something else, like slightly he'll have to watch out for most of the time. But yeah, it looks like a really good Medusa setup.
So I think the one thing that I like about Fnatic's draft at the moment is I think they do have pretty strong side lanes. I was concerned about I was concerned about the reason of them picking the Undying into the Necro, because I think Undying excels against melee strength heroes and the Necro is not that. So I thought you're picking this hero that relies on having a good lane and going from there. But because Necro's going mid, it's going to be Undying versus Pango, which is a pretty good matchup for the Undying. Should have a really good time. Undying Drow, really strong. And you got Mars Eye. Like, that is just...
Absolutely.
Of course, we saw it TI. It's still nothing different. Really strong. So those two side lanes, I think, is where Fnatic have to pull this game into a position where they can just snowball early on.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm talking a lot about T1, but on Fnatic's side, like, they have really strong side lanes, and they have an Ember Spirit who's versus very limited disables that he has to worry about. Like, it's like Fiend's Grip, it's Overgrowth, it's like a Reaper's Scythe, and it's Pango. It's not your most traditional catches. It's mostly just ultimates that are going to be there to hold him down rather than just like a Lion Impale, a Sand King Stun, like any of these type of things. It's a lot different. So it could potentially just become a free Ember game where he's making all the space in the world and Drow's able to farm, and he's going to have this, tether where he's able to just get super boost up from Overcharge with his multi-shot in fights. But the group up from T1 is incredibly powerful. Their team fight is crazy strong when they rally around the Medusa. So yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. See if Fnatic can get themselves in a good position to allow this Ember to make space for Drow. Oh,
It does feel like Ember... Yeah, I was going to take a little bit of damage, but Tether's back up. They don't have the greatest supports to rotate on T1. So I wonder if Almel is going to consider early just to try and avoid this lane and just maybe pull the creeps over to the small camp or play... Just have two separate lanes almost versus Carl, because knowing that it's a bit difficult for a Treant Protector to come and maybe provide some damage or even the Bane as well.
Yeah, I'm mostly going to be watching mid. I'm not sure what Arno will do. He's got the Flame Guard level 1, which from the changes and all that, it's become a little better versus Necrophos level 1, as you can absorb the first pulse now. You couldn't do that in the past, so other little changes,
One more right click with the slow from the snake. Oh, live one. Licking his lips, he finds first blood, and T1 are on the board.
Oh, I love it too. He went for the Orb of Venom. They know that this is a strong IO Mars lane, but it needs a couple levels to get strong. They're very strong level 1. That's always the power of Treant Protector. That level 1, level 2 is one of the strongest.
Even though they cut down some of the trees, they do have the 2 on jabs. Maybe White Ones overstep the mark a bit too far.
You got to be careful though. Like the Leech Seed is something you can't overextend into. It's a crazy amount of healing this early.
Bottom lane off to a ripper start for T1, and that was one of the lanes for Fnatic that I was expecting to go a little bit better, but like you said, it's just the early levels is the concern as we move to top. Genuine on the Undying and Raven on the Drow Ranger. A little bit of pressure into Cuckoo, who's doesn't have any regen.
No, he does not. You have a lot of regen lacking. Okay, he does have extra being brought, of course, but... Looks like Cuckoo's gonna actually get... Okay, oh, he missed a couple free last hits there, but looks like he might actually get some better farm than I thought he would. They're getting good lane positioning.
There's kind of multiple ways you can play the Undying in a lane. It's always the... Well, one, just in regards to how you think about even leveling in general, but we can see sometimes it's just a spam in abilities, bring out a bunch of mangoes. Even the Orb of Venom can be something you consider, especially when you have like a carry that can provide another slow.
Yeah, and then it's like, you know, you can choose to either go for a soul rip and a kill, or like just a heal sustain kind of thing, or you play, if they overextend, you drop Tombstone and go for double kill on your core. Something like that. Raven, top CS, looking good so far. Johnwell doing his job.
Seemingly like Armel's actually, he's standing his ground against Carl.
Yep.
Is of course taking a lot of damage and playing off the back of the bottle and the water runes as well, which he does still have one more top. But I think now that Carl is, this is really where it starts to be a difficult lane. Like you needed to ramp up your levels, and now it's at the stage where very awkward for Armel to play.
Yeah, this is where it's just, you start getting out sustained. You have to make moves for bottle, while Necro doesn't have to go for this at all. You know, he just goes for stat items and just regens off the creeps. So, tough matchup, but yeah, first 4 levels, I think Armel held his ground very nicely.
So yeah, right now, kind of been off.
Another pause? Uh-oh. And that's T1 pausing. That concerns me.
I was just going to say that this series has kind of been off the back of the position 2s. You know, again, we saw game 1, the Keeper of the Light for Armel, and then Carl on the puck in game 2. So a bit of a different pace for Carl the Necrophos, but see if he's able to follow suit and follow in that momentum. It's definitely a hero that they like giving over to Cuckoo pretty often, but Carl has shown in the past that he has what it takes to play the Necro.
Yeah, and he could become also one of those unkillable Necros this game again too, right? Like, the magic damage is a little limited, unless they get like the Gust silence on him or the Ember is able to full commit onto this Undying. When he's got his team rallied around him, it could prove to be problematic to kill him. If he just does get Ghost Shroud off, like, the Ember and the Mars spells, really, that are going to be doing most of that damage, so, yeah. Alright, he's back. Other cool thing is, just to point out, I like when I see teams willing to just like swap what role they're gonna play of like 4 and 5. Like Whitemod's playing Tree. So, speaking of Whitemod bottom, level 2 Leech Seed.
Standing his ground, they'll push back jabs, but enough to get the kill as jabs limping away. We are seeing that this T1 bottom lane is able to put the pressure back onto Fnatic.
I love this skill build. I really want to point out, for a lot of people on Tree, they just like default and you're like, oh, I'm with a ranged hero. Nature's Grasp isn't really that good or something. But this is what an amazing ability for trading. It's one of the best. The damage and the healing it provides for you, it's absolutely insane. It's like 160 healing damage. So, Gabby, step up a bit far now while the tree is pulling. Gonna take some harass.
Other little thing is that Raven was forced to put a point in Gus just to hold back Zephyr and Cuckoo early, so we don't really see like a Gus super early in the laning phase, so maybe this can minimize some of their kill potential.
I think this is a build that almost every Drow wants to go. Like, I think everybody tells themselves to, they're like, if I don't skill Gust, I'm gonna die in lane. And then they don't skill Gust, and then they die. And you know, this is just like, he's learned his lesson. He doesn't need that extra point in Frost Arrow. Like, Gust is more important, so. I like when I see people actually take the skill points. Like when you're a Necro and you're like, ooh, I could take that 3rd point in Nuke over my Ghost Shroud.
Yeah, well, that's what we saw in the previous game. He was level 4, and then they were putting, well, actually top lane, Tombstone down. Nice read, though. Cuckoo and Zephyr just turn it back on the Tombstone. Now this gives them a big window to beat onto Raven. He's going to try and stand his ground with the multi-shot, but it doesn't matter. T1 surrounds him with an easy kill, and well, Genuel's completely out of mana, so it's going to rely on the movement speed to try and chase down Zephyr, but just edges out faster escape. As off to the other side, Fnatic, they also lose another hero in DJ on the IO.
Pretty huge. The team with Medusa getting early kills like this in the Medusa lane as well. And your lane swap. You have your Necro dominating the mid matchup, and now you have your Pango even getting more than I thought he would. Again, out of the top lane, it's massive. I wanted to see if he was going to go for the build that we saw done from FBZ, especially when he's playing versus hard right click. He goes Vanguard most of his games on Pango, but Cuckoo's going to go more of standard. Arcane Boot, just Corrosion. I was just curious if we would see that Vanguard build from FBZ because it feels really good. And Zephyr, look at him just being annoying.
Oh, what are you going on, Mel? They took away the power and jeez. we saw this in game one.
He's like, you serious? I was like, dude, I actually can't fight you. Like, I gotta run.
His brains have the threat of it. It's a lot of damage.
I mean,
no.
It's again like really big plays coming out from T1. They're able to like Pango's alone, getting his own stuff top. Bane is disrupting the Embers farm while Necro free farms, Dusa free farms. Excellent start in the lanes. And like you mentioned, Fnatic, they set themselves up with 2 strong side lanes, and yeah, they're not winning those.
Would you like to see T1 maybe bring supports mid to utilize this early catapult and also utilize the good start that Carl has had?
I thought maybe the Bane could. I don't think Tree ever wants to leave Medusa at this point. So yeah, that's just about it. I thought that's why I said the 7-minute tower. I kind of was joking, but I thought it was a possibility for the Necro. He got 700 damage, which is pretty nice. And the Bane was annoying. Maybe he was trying to do the rotation and just ran into an Ember. But look, what is happening? Are they chasing creeps? Carl's trying to bring the lane. I think he's trying to meet the wave.
His Remnant's
His Remnant just timed out. It just timed out.
He's gonna die from this. They still have the brain zap. No way. Multiple tips flowing out as Armel gives over the 4th death. And now the bottom we go as Jabs. And a couple more right clicks, but DJ with the sustain will keep Jabs healthy enough, but he's going to TP all the way back to base. This is not looking good for Fnatic.
It literally timed out, what, like 2 seconds before they get the sleep on him, or like a second before this. Oh my god, how unfortunate. Poor Armel. And now the tower is going to start getting pressured as Whitemon, the bottom lane is broken, so now he can move. Since the Mars have been sent back to base, he can look to play around Carl a little bit. 2k lead already. Not a good sign for Fnatic versus Adusa.
Armel?
And that's gonna... Carl is just rushing a Vessel also. Since he's playing versus the Io and the Undying, the double heal supports. He's just gonna be the one to get it at an unbelievable early timing. Oh, like around 10 minutes, if not before then.
Again, it's... The side lane should not have gone as well as what they did for T1. The Pango's high net worth and Raven.
Yeah, like the top lane, I feel like should have been the one that Fnatic definitely won. Bottom, maybe like a trade, but
we're gonna see that top lane. Cuckoo's rolling thunder onto Genuel. It's a lot of damage towards Raven, but there is no extra heroes for Cuckoo to be able to play with. So first rolling thunder of the game will net them an easy kill onto Genuel.
And it does feel like moving forward for Fnatic, like recovery just feels a little difficult because I feel like, I don't know if this is the right choice from Jabs. He's gone for Armlet on the Mars this game. So you have an Ember Spirit who's shut down because of a tough lane plus dying. You have a Mars who's going for a greedy item build, so he's not going to look to move around and catch your Drow and Ember back up. I don't know if this Armlet was the right choice. Because now it feels like he's going to be farming greedily, the Ember is going to be farming greedily, and the Drow is going to be farming greedily, and you have duo supports who don't do anything. So I'm feeling quite concerned for Fnatic right now when I see the item choice that they want for in Jabs too. And now the mid tower was brought down, so I mean a little bit after that 7-minute mark, but
a little
close
bit
enough,
after.
close enough, you know. I should have said 10 minutes or 8 minutes or 9 minutes all. But yeah, I mean 5-0, 3k lead. Tough lineup to really like invade now versus the Dusa as well after these lanes have gone so poorly. Because your Ember is, as we mentioned, you know, when you have a tough lane like this, you can't be the one to now go gank side lanes, because if you die, your game is just completely over. So now, yeah, I'm not sure who helps Raven.
Oh, we're seeing Raven under a little bit of pressure. Cuckoo does have the reinforcements soon to show up, but Cuckoo's Rolling Thunder is back in the arsenal. He'll bounce back off the wall. Raven, really nice sidesteps, but it just buys enough time for Carl to get involved. Scythe is out. Arena fall from Jab, so he can step into the middle of the fight, controlling 3, but the damage, it's there to take the life of Carl. They even get Whitemon along with it, so biting off a little bit more than they can chew on T1, diving the T1 tower, and they will be penalized for that attempt.
Okay, well, a relocate to bring the Mars in makes that armlet very valuable. Look at the damage Jabs did. 3,200. Just completely slaps down the Necro, gets him caught to the wall. All right, okay. Maybe I was jumping the gun a little on the armlet pickup because I was a little worried of how he gets to the fight, but kind of forgot about the IO. So big play there from DJ, bringing the Mars right into everything. It looked a little worrying because he did get hit by Rolling Thunder, but great connection on the Necro.
And it's also just a little bit of catch-up for Armel. Like, nothing crazy. It was a lot more goal given over to the Jabs, but at least, like, he's getting time to kill involvement, farm out a lane, farm out a jungle camp. So he now has the Javelin completed.
Okay. It's small gains. I mean, Raven is... It's still, like, the game is about the Drow Ranger. So it's like the Ember gets caught up a little bit, but Raven does die, and he's still very far behind, and... Deuce is going to farm a lot faster than this Drow Ranger. Even though Drow has IO, I don't know how much the IO is going to be paired with Raven. I think he wants to stick with Mars early. So, yeah, Deuce just as a hero naturally is going to super out-farm Drow. So, Fnatic, it's a good thing to get them back on the board a little bit, but they still have to just think about the Drow versus Medusa matchup, because Drow is just not online by any means and just needs more space.
It's... The name of the game is just controlling Dai's triangle. We see how the wards are set up. One on the cliff, one by the secret shop. A couple of sentries in the area as well. Really trying to give Raven that safe space to find his catch-up farm. But down to bottom we go as DJ with Jabs. They do have the relocate potential, but with all the stuns flowing in quick succession, they're going to give it another Scythe kill to Carl. He's up to 3 charges now. Oh,
it's so early. It's so early for him to have this. They're feeling themselves for sure. Like, they're high-fiving, tipping, like, constant chat wheels. You can tell T1's feeling really happy about the way that this early game has gone. I don't think they expected to go this well. Even though that lane switch up, you know, the Necro versus Ember, I'm sure he felt like he'd do that well, but yeah, Pango crushing it. Gonna have a blink soon, so all these fights are gonna be easy for them to set up. And yeah, all the space in the world for Gabby to farm. And you mentioned the triangle. That sentry's still blocking Ancient, so Drow doesn't even have access to that on the on the dire side.
Absolutely love and life for T1. Gabby's almost has his Manta Style completed. We have almost got Blink as well on Cuckoo. So this is going to be a pretty solid timing with the Pangolier Blink, which is all they need to maybe get that first stun onto the Ember or even, you know, gap close to the Drow.
And when Medusa joins the fights, you know, that's when it's going to be. When she's ready, then what does Fnatic do? Because we saw they did have, surprisingly too, they had enough to burst through Carl, but are they going to be able to go through both when they're both in the fight too? That's going to be a whole nother ask. Nice grab from Armel. Very good rune on the Ember.
And again, he's closing on this Maelstrom. And I feel like this game, it's going to be very similar to last in a way where I feel like Fnatic have to stall this out, especially early on, which is probably something that they weren't wanting to do. Like, IO lineups can really snowball, especially Drow lineups. But you're in a position where you're just too far behind. You have to delay and try and get those item timings, but you feel maybe you can then force a fight.
Yeah, maybe. Delaying into a Dusa though, right?
Scary. Yeah.
Scary for sure. Even though you have your IO Drow, you have the Drow counter in a way versus the Dusa with an IO behind. This Necro is just huge. Level 12 on Carl. Reaper's back. They're hunting, but it's gonna be a big fight.
Oh, nice silence. They'll be able to kill off the Tree Protector before the fight breaks out, and meanwhile, Jabs run straight to Cuckoo. This is an exceptional start to the fight for Fnatic. They will lose the life of Jabs. Carl's going to be able to get another side kill, but Raven standing his ground, beating to Gabby, who will force back Genuel, is going to end up ticking out to the Spirit Vessel, but now they can turn their attention over to the Necrophos, diving under the T1 tower as they buy back on the Bane, but to no avail as Carl gives up a streak over to DJ and Fnatic. Another fight going their way and a tier 1 tower.
Wow. I mean, they came ready. They brought the 5-man squad. They get the tree before he gets anything off. They get the Pango too. Very nicely done. And I was actually worried for Gabby for a second. He showed up after the fight was almost concluded. Drow was able to start beating on him. Raven, you know, now they enabled the Drow. So step 1. Still need maybe a couple more fights that work that way, but making it the Necrophos bleed. He did get the Reaper kill, but they do get the big kill and the tower.
You are... Oh, Mars is going BKB after the armor. So I know you were mentioning kind of your concerns about no blink, but we'll see.
Okay, oh well. I was mentioning my concerns about just like not being mobile at all, like with just straight armlet and brown boots. But with phase boots, I mean, he's dealing a lot of damage in the fights to himself because he's the one who's tethered in most of these situations. So cool.
And it's like it's a completely different game we have now 16 minutes in. Before we were kind of mentioning, like, Armo has a much better game. He can act as almost like a pseudo initiator, and we saw what the relocate can do in your previous engagement. So maybe just really looking to be this beefy man, sit in the front line, protect the Drow, allow her to siege from the back, and just get that damage flow in, because Raven is doing pretty well. Level 12.
He's caught up. He's completely caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's not at the same level as Gabby, but for a Drow that was shut down in lane, I think that's the best you can ask for. Yeah, no, it's really good. That was big. I actually did not think that they were going to get the connection. I thought the tree was going to scout them, and then it was going to be like the exact opposite almost. So it's very thankful for Fnatic that they're able to bring this back, because now they have Mech IO too, so some extra sustain in the fight. And yeah, now Raven's actually able to farm, which felt like he was just going to struggle for a little bit from the T1 snowball that was happening.
I think in regards to the itemization coming out from the position ones, it's all eyes towards the Skadi, which Gabby is already starting to work on. He's got this ultimate orb. Jabs is going to be caught out top. It looks like Zephyr's not going to try and follow up with the Fiend's Grip, but yeah, this game it's all on the Eye Skadi. It's such a huge counter to both the Medusa and the Drow Ranger. Not even just them, but also the heroes on the sides, and the Eye, the Necro, just the sustain that they require.
Yeah. I mean, Medusa item timings get very crazy, very fast. Like 1 or 2 items, and it's like you can't fight into this hero. Yeah, he's getting close, so they're looking to kick that timing up.
They just pierced the middle. Ooh. They're able to run through the defense on tier 1, but Cuckoo's still in a position. Be able to offset Armel, bounces back, but doesn't get the chain control. So this is Rolling Thunder expended. They're going to get a perfect tombstone on the hiker, but where's the follow-up instant side? Jabs hasn't been bursted down. A relocate a little bit too late. A 1-for-1 trade, but they're fighting into the tombstone advantage. Raven's on the low ground. Doesn't really have prime position to start sieging, so it will be T1 just edging out a victory.
Good reset away from Tomb. I think if they chase, they actually lose that fight more than likely. Then they don't get the Reaper kill either. It is a kill on a core for a support, so a little bit of a better trade there from T1, but it's not a Reaper kill. And Raven still continuing to get this space on the map. He's got his Manta done. All right.
Also, just in regards to something you were mentioning in that fight, is how they've respected the tombstone and the area denial that's able to provide, and also the arena as well. I think they are two of the best ways to be able to combine with a Drow, who is a glass cannon type of hero. Like, you need to be able to stand your ground, and if the formation is broken, then this hero and how you play it's completely down the drain.
Totally agreed. I'm actually surprised that, I guess Raven, because he was behind, he didn't want to go for it, but I could have put an argument for the Gus blind talent this game. Like, your carries always want to have the Frost Arrow damage, but you're playing it to do so. I felt like it could have actually been pretty valuable this game, but most of the time he's going to be gusting Necrophos, I guess, is probably his thoughts.
Damn it. Alright, Kyle's just going to pick that one up. Like, may as well. He's even got a Radiance queued up, so we'll see if Kyle's going to continue down this route.
Look at that. That's kind of cool.
An interesting one. I mean, we saw the heart on the Necrophos in the previous game from Cuckoo.
The old school pickup. Oh, bottom. Okay, Armal gets out of there. That was a little close. It's like the old school Necro. You deal so much damage. If you're not addressed, you're gonna kill everybody with Heartstopper Radiance. And long drawn out fights, you'll just straight up win with Medusa Necro if he goes this build. Speaking of Medusa, Gabby, he's got it done after this wave. Maybe he gets jumped first. They were thinking about it. They'll have Scotty done, and I think Jabs, he does have his BKB done. So as for him, starting fights with BKB Brigands, like we saw him before, right? Now the next time he'll live. He'll just BKB walk in. If he can grab the Necro, they might just be able to burst him in time. The Necrophos, that is. And then he can do it a lot freer. Because if he had Blink, he just Blink initiates and he's dead every single time. Like this with the BKB, might be able to reset.
It's just a question of if they can get usage out of this arena, though, because Rolling Thunder is one of the better abilities to be able to mitigate that. You don't care about the walls. You roll directly in the middle, just kind of split the arena into two. And Fnatic, they want to dive in. They want to blow heroes up, and you even have a Stone Gaze to kind of act as some also area denial, like we brought up before.
T1's ready. They've got the Scotty on Dusa, level 17. Waiting for something. They see bottom. Long ways to swing towards. Oh, did he break it? He didn't break anybody. Oh, he broke Cuckoo.
Don't know if he saw Cuckoo.
I'm not sure either. It didn't look. I mean, from the way that they're playing, it looks like it.
That's a very interesting ward placement. Bottom
They've
tier
had a
one.
They had another one, like you saw, like up north at the tier 2. They actually still have it. It's to like, I think it's to watch and catch the relocate positioning and stuff. It's really interesting because now it's gonna catch them positioning at the tier 2, and maybe Fnatic tries to break high ground. And look at Carl, like they're setting up for this high ground defense.
Just
Fnatic
them out.
actually.
So
Okay. Carl peeks.
It's not pop.
He knows. Fnatic has to watch out. They cannot fight in that area versus Medusa. BKB also on Armel. I mean, they've got the double BKBs on Fnatic, so they're kind of poised to fight, but they don't want to force it.
He'd love to be able to wait for Raven to find his BKB. This is a bit of a window right now for T1, of course, with the Ice Scotty advantage on the Medusa. He's even
He
lucky
also has a
enough.
crit. He has a crit also on
Ooh.
top now too. He's farming. He's farming really fast. Yeah.
Oh my, Gavi. 18. Got the grow bow as well, so all ways to buff up the Medusa.
It's just easier to farm. Like Manta, Medusa, you just Manta, send it down waves. You just naturally farm so fast. 306 last hits on Dusa, 213 on Drow. So, Genuel?
It's a tough life sometimes, so we're gonna try and get to the area. Scythe is out, it's enough to get the kill, the Tombstone. They're trying to focus it down, but off the side, the Fiend's grip. It's out onto Jabs. He doesn't have an opportunity to get the arena out before he dies to BKB, but it will not matter. Now they're onto Raven to the eastern side as Carl and Cuckoo, they recognize their job, surrounding the Drow, forcing out a BKB. But that will only be used to make it away as T1. What a play from them, and this could open up Roche as Gabby and Cuckoo, they're both in the pit.
What a play from Zephyr. Like, there really isn't that many ways for them to stop Fiend's Grip. We didn't really talk too much about it, but the limited disable, that double lack of stuns from the supports. It's like Gust was down, Amber used chains, and then Mars is the other one to stop it. He just grabs the Mars. That was beautiful, really, from the Bane. Just great understanding of the fight of who to get on, and just not messing around too. It's just they initiate with Rolling Thunder because they know they're going to react with the relocate, even though they didn't know who was on high ground there. Like, they just force an engagement. That was really well played from T1. And Fnatic, now that's a pretty huge fight to have go south, because Raven shows up with BKB and all that. His first BKB charge gets wasted. Same thing for the Ember, and now your Drow is almost 2 full items behind a Dusa with Aegis.
Yeah, it was your triple BKB timing on Fnatic, and now it's just death ball from here. T1, they have so much sustain through the living armor, through the necro heal. You're not really cooldown reliant. Like Scythe, of course, a very long cooldown, but not something they're relying on to take fights at all. So maybe they wait for Radiance, they wait for Silver's Edge, and then it's go time. You could probably take two towers.
He got the Reaper kill again, right? I'm pretty sure he did. I looked away for a second, but either way, he's at 5 stacks. Like, look at his regen. He has, without the stacks that he just got from the last 2, he has like 36 per second health without even popping his Ghost Shroud. So like, then they're gonna be really big nuisances, right? Like this Necro and Dusa, they're gonna have to commit so much to kill one of them that the other one is gonna destroy the fight likely, especially with the Radiance that Carl's going.
And just theory crafting a little bit, what do we think the build is after the Radiance? Can he consider a Blink? Like, do you just try and get on the Drow and have this evasion so Drow can't really stand and right click?
I guess maybe. I would like him to honestly have some more armor. He has 8 armor. I'd like some plus armor versus a Drow maybe, but I'm unsure. Maybe the Blink is just valuable enough for him to get on top of the Drow. As it looks like the fight's gonna kick off. Armel's committing. They saw Ghost Shroud use.
They just lost the ward on the backline. Fnatic and now Cuckoo once again. Prime target of the Mars, but they don't get the second bounce back, so DJ to the rescue. They'll sacrifice Genuel. Cuckoo trying to cut down some trees, finding any stragglers, but they'll just get the return kill on the Io, so both supports will be killed off, and they'll try and connect this into some more towers down bottom.
Carl gets both last hits too. I think really important. He's got Radiance.
Ooh.
Another stack as well too, so now we look once he gets his stacks down. 37.9 per second. How are you gonna kill this Dusa and Necro? Like, you can maybe kill one on the side of Fnatic with your spear combo, but killing both is getting harder and harder.
And I really like your call about the armor as well, because yeah, he's only got 8 armor, so it's like,
he's going Lotus.
Let's go Lotus. Yeah,
I think that's the right choice
for this game.
I honestly was considering saying like, maybe he just goes BKB because then he's literal invulnerable. It's never something you want to do in Necrophos, but this is just easier and better because then all he has to worry about right now is getting caught in like chains and a gust or something. This will just remove all of that, plus make him just naturally tanky without having to worry about anything. So yeah, Carl really killing it on his item choices and his play today. 11-2 this game. Last game, what, he was like 11-0 or something. Really good stuff.
Carl is... I mean, the momentum, that's something we were speaking about from Armel in game 1, if it could lead it over into the other series, and it's definitely been Carl.
It's this game, it's like, what can Armel... Armel's 4-1-6, and he was in a Ember versus Necro matchup, and he got chased from a Bane. Like, I think Armel's doing, like, it feels like all he really can. It's just... It's tough when it's... The weight is on him and the Mars to make plays because they have these double saving supports that have to just... Look at the way they have to play. Like, Shenwell and DJ have to do exactly what they're doing right now, almost the whole game. They have to hug Raven.
Yeah, what is the role of the Ember through these fights? Like, what is Armel's job to get done?
I mean, he probably wants to just kill Zephyr. I think he needs to get rid of this Bane. As we just saw, that Fiend's gonna literally just crush the last team fight. I think he just needs to kill one hero. And, I mean, maybe even just kill for both supports, and then somehow they need to isolate this Deuce and Necro. But, again, not sure where the damage is going to come from them. It's not easy for Fnatic at the point that we are at.
7,000 net worth lead, and T1 already beating onto the high ground. They have the Aegis for another 40 seconds, so looking to force some reactions. They don't feel like they can probably take the tier 3 tower, but it's just mainly getting Fnatic back inside the base, and you're ruining any economy they can further gain.
Really important that they got the ward down, and it's not getting dewarded. So they have a ward in the base that's going to be able to, I mean, probably pay off later on. And looking at Armel, he spent his gold, so you know. So he's committed for that full Aghanims. So maybe they're going to look to fight immediately after it and try to catch T1. Maybe perhaps when the Aegis expires, 5 seconds. Maybe they could think about it. It's risky though. So you'll have nothing left for buy. You'll have no buyback left on Ember. So, but 5 remnants now available.
They have some very good vision though on Fnatic. One by the cliffside, kind of in the bottom Radiant jungle. One that's about to expire, protecting Fnatic's triangle.
Oh god, look at Carl now. So plate mail, and he just got blast rig. Look at his armor now.
Oh. Armel.
Raven.
Thunder out, but they're on to Raven. What's the draw doing in the river? A quick relocate from DJ. Raven's out to safety, and now Fnatic pounce. They're on to the opposite side of the map as Bane's gonna drop. Carl's in trouble, is able to reset his positioning, drops a side, but Armel's okay, protected for the BKB. A Remnant over to his side. It's Fnatic. Okay, but that was way
That
too
was
close
so
for comfort.
close. A beautiful reload. That was, he was about to get scythed, but he got caught on like the edge of the Mars arena, I think it was, on Carl. Couldn't make it to him. I think Carl also, I don't know if he like forgot, I guess he forgot he didn't have the shard, because he reapered that, he reapered Armel like really high HP, and I was like, oh, he's gonna use shard to make him, you know, ethereal and maybe get the kill, and then I was like, oh wait, yeah, he didn't go shard this game. So a bit of an early reaper.
Radiant are scanning.
Maybe they look to punish it. A scan comes out. Is that a move that make? No, it's not. Okay, it's a ping. I thought it was like, is this, wait, reload just happened. How is this happening?
Some more shenanigans on the map, but Fnatic, yeah. What was looking like a very, very awkward start to the fight, I think Raven gets gifted an extra life, honestly, off the back of DJ's beautiful relocate, and he's continuing to push back this Skadi timing. He thought about it after the Manta, he went BKB, he thought about it after the BKB, he went Hurricane Pike, and now it's like, all right, now it's Skadi time. But you are so far behind. Something you mentioned before is that, man, these Deuce's items, you say she just gets one item, and then all of a sudden afterwards, she's got another item you're starting to mention.
Yeah. A full BKB now finished, by the way, on top of Blink.
Oh,
as we were mentioning, items aplenty. Yeah, full 2 items ahead, and it's gonna continue that way. It's not gonna be easy for the Drown until she starts getting involved in some kills inside of a fight to catch up to the net worth of that Dusa. As Carl, he's got his Lotus now finished, so now he's pretty invulnerable. Now he's got multiple different ways to protect himself versus Gust, chains, etc. Only way they can kill him is if they burst him in a spear combo. And they are setting up for it.
That they are.
Let's see, can
Carl
they get
doesn't
Carl?
have heroes behind, and Dying know where all of Radiant are. They're well aware that Carl has no backup. A Lotus out. He's still got the Yules to be able to play with. Jab's gonna fly over the tree line to offer the extra control, and Carl gets the Yules at the last second, but can they stand their ground to protect him? Carl will be killed off. Cuckoo trying to deal with the backline, but the Rolling Thunder will provide nothing as the TP out. He's okay, but now this might give a sign for Fnatic to continue on for more. Gabby's out to safety, but Armel will not be able to run into the tree and protect us, so bleeding some more kills.
That's the big one they're looking for. They've been trying to get him all game. They finally get this pesky Necro out of position. Right after he picks up like a ton of armor items, as we mentioned, you know, Blast Drake plus Lotus Orb, he's at like 28 armor, but they get him with the spear. That's the most important thing. And not hesitating either. They even drop the arena afterwards just to make sure that the Medusa can't come in and get any cleanup kills. So Fnatic, signs of life. Pretty big moves as Jabs. He's going to be finishing a refresher now on the Mars in a second too. So Blink, Armlet, BKB, refresher. They'll have 2 different goes to be able to maybe address that Necrodusa as we've been talking about. Really catching things back up.
Look at the map control they just got off this. A tier 2 bottom, a tier 1 mid. Like, this is huge for Fnatic now.
Yeah, there's a huge influx of golden experience too, right? Level 23 on the Ember, 2,700 gold, 21 Mars. As we mentioned, almost his refresher too. Yeah, this is big gains. And exactly what they needed, because like we mentioned, you know, Gabby even reacted, so he stopped farming for some time to go react to bottom, and yeah, losing themselves all of that momentum. Still got a game on our hands.
Oh, well and truly, dude. We got a perfect position to be in. You have 3,000 net worth lead for T1, and it's a very minimal kill advantage. We've got 31 apiece, and this is...
Radiant's middle tower has
Wow, I mean, the fact that Fnatic are even being able to resemble some form of a game 3 where it was, you know, getting to a stage where at the, I think it was like 8,000 top lead for T1, but Fnatic just some way have been able to call themselves back, and these items are soon to be completed. Like, we almost have this Skadi on Raven.
And we almost have the Dominator on Hunwell, so we almost are going to have the Harpy.
Little Harpy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
14 seconds though till Roche. So see T1, they're gonna smoke, they're gonna look for an actual straight up fight, because that last fight was them literally getting completely caught off with the Necro, and he still barely died. If they're rallied behind Carl, they'll definitely be able to save him.
Nice move though. T1 avoiding the area where Fnatic have the vision. Confirmation of Genuel's location. An awkward blink from Gabby as Genuel just looks to drop the tombstone down. Jab's gonna fly over, but it's a wasted Arena. And I think Fnatic have to avoid the fight now. Arena, Tomb, both on cooldown. And this will be Roche now for free, I think.
They have a second Arena, so maybe this catches them off guard. But no tombstone will be problematic. Oh, that's, I mean, fortunate for T1 that they get such a quick respawn. It was, I think it was like almost instant respawn. But very unfortunate for Fnatic. 20 seconds, no tombstone. But like we said, Jabs, refresher at the ready.
They're coming. Armel wants to poke. See if any reactions are out. Baiting the second Arena potential, but T1, they're not crazy grouped up just yet.
He refreshed. Jabs is ready.
On Armel. Armel needs to get them grouped up. See how they're playing. They are underneath Radiant Vision, so there's full confirmation. Roche is soon to fall. They need to get in the pit. Gabby standing his ground. The bash. No from Roche. Now the Arena's out. Trying to control them out of the pit as the Aegis picked up from Jabs. Armel able to survive through the scythe. Now with the BKB remnant out. But still inside the mouth of the pit. They have the Fiend Skip. They'll get rid of the first life. But how can they reset for the second? There's Raven and DJ standing hand in hand. But T1, they don't want to bar of it. They're happy with that. But that's a big win for Fnatic.
They got the last hit as well. Jabs got both. He did not get the shard though. Medusa did end up picking up the shard. And who did he hand it over to?
It's in the base. I think it's given over to Carl.
Going to Carl.
Yeah.
Okay, so he picked it up. He gave it to Carl. But yeah, again, like Fnatic. Now the refresher is revealed. So if T1 didn't know about it, they'll 100% give in. And nobody died, right? It was kind of a crazy fight that nobody ends up dying in because they're all just dancing, except for the Aegis, of course. But okay,
That was... There we go. Ravens. Oh, this Ag shard is... It's quite a shard. And you've got that now with the Ice Scotty too.
Yep, he's got that really good reduction. And then if he does kill anybody, that explosion, of course, that burst is going to be nice versus these super tanky heroes. He's pretty close behind that Medusa. Such a close game. Armel now with a full Lincolns as well too, so ways to protect themselves versus Reaper finally.
I mean, this is something that we were bringing up though earlier on, is that this is a very good Ember game. It's going to be difficult to chain control him. You're probably only playing off the back of like the one time he's died was that mistake into the Fiend's grip, and if that's not the case, it's just beautiful chain control from Pain going to maybe an overgrowth. But we see Armel is really playing these fights perfectly.
Yeah, the supports as well. Like the Fnatic supports have been on point. Like Generals gave a couple kills on the Tombstone, but like they've been doing their job excellent as Cuckoo. He's got Lotus and Yules. He should be fine. Yeah.
That's something. I like what Fnatic are doing though. It's holding bottom. They do not want to lose this water.
They got the Harpy. Look at it.
Oh no.
This will be what wins them the game. This will be it.
Okay.
It's in position. Raven's actually poking. Look at this. They have full vision of the entire Radiant base, so. Damn Harpy.
This. I have to look somewhere else. I get too triggered if I keep looking at the Harpy. Carl is going to the Sungeon Kai. Okay. So just continuing to tank up as much as possible.
Yeah, some status resist too, because I think the only thing that kills him if he dies, it's literally if he dies in the spear to the wall. So I think he's starting to recognize that as well. I actually thought he might do some funny disassembling fun stuff, but there's not really anything you can disassemble Radiance into besides your Nullifier, which you do not want a Necrophos. So.
What do you mean?
Maybe.
Nullify Necro sounds kind of cool.
Karappa.
I mean, if you go for some interesting item builds, we just saw Ace in Western Europe on his Underlord. He went
lost.
Basher, Satanic. Oh, hang on, no, you're not supposed to say that. People can go check it for themselves. They hear an Underlord going Basher and Satanic. It's like, well, let's test that out.
That's true. But yeah, he wants that status resist just slightly tankier and to be removed from being pinned. As how's our 25s looking? Armel is 25. Raven's still a bit behind. Gabby, not quite 25, and neither's Carl. So, okay.
Dire's middle tower
And again, now they're starting to poke again bottom.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
As the Harpy continues giving them good vision.
Someone's gonna kill it off. Just put your body on the line, Rolling Thunder, get rid of the trees, do something, get rid of the Harpy. No,
They're scouting it.
oh,
Look,
yeah, they're sending the courier.
Scouting with the courier.
Oh no!
Oh, this is too funny. Look at it. Oh, man.
Alright, he is out, and let's. What do we got? Okay, this is actually kind of big. Whitemon is working towards Blink, and he's very close to it.
Okay.
So
That's kind of needed.
Can
Armel?
they kill? No. Okay.
No. Okay, what other things have been picked up that we didn't know? So Carl got a flicker. As you mentioned, yeah, the blink almost done for Whitemon. The flicker is going to be really useful. Again, more dispels versus Gust and whatnot. Cuckoo has Aeon Disc, so he'll be... I mean, he's kind of just been committing very recklessly anyway as the Rolling Thunder, but now even easier that he can commit with the Spell Prism. Pretty big pickup. And, I mean, Zephyr with a Ninja Gear, that's one that I'm going to keep eyes on, because his positioning's been excellent so far with his Fiend's Grip. Definitely another possibility with a Ninja Gear. Free smokes.
It was something that Gabby had for a decent amount of time, but he's swapped that over to the Trickster's Cloak, wanting the evasion, a little bit of magic resistance as well for the Medusa, who now has hit level 25.
He's got the timing, right? The big timing. That split shot modifier with Scotty. Raven has his own slight amounts of evasion as well, too. He's got the Elven Tunic, at the very least, to kind of, you know, so they can match some slight types of dodging.
Yep.
And look at this, just playing around their vision. Playing around that Harpian ward.
Just aggressive smoke in quite some time.
25 on Mars.
Look at this. Armel's going to see Carl. I think he might have actually just been out of range. Jabs.
The jump.
Instant jump. Onto the Bane. A quick and easy kill. Armel's going to look to follow up and provide some more chaos towards the backline. Jabs with a pressure. Pins the Necro up against the tree. Whitemon's going to fly over, trying to lock them down with the overgrowth, but there's no extra damage throughout the duration. They're trying to focus him down still. Carl's falling lower and lower. They will kill off the Necrophos. Meanwhile, throughout the river, Raven juking to the northern side. It's been able to avoid Gabby. He's going to blink on forward. A beautiful nightmare. Raven's in trouble. They're TPing behind him. They need a way to be able to protect Raven. That's where Jab's putting his body on the line with the bulwark. And now Raven turns it back around. They're locked onto Gabby. Pins him up against a tree like a pinata. It's Raven doing God's work. They're on to more. Cuckoo stuck on a cliff. Well, that's not the position you want to be in. It's Fnatic fighting for... I don't know how they keep doing it.
Oh my, I mean, Jabs is an absolute monster this game. MVP for me so far, for sure. It's just his spear usages and his arena usages there. He dies, has a buyback gold, comes back in the fight, just stands his ground with the... I mean, perfect play really from the Mars. Couldn't have asked for better. Taking out the Bane, taking out the Necro, setting up his team for this. Necro no buyback, Deuce has buyback, but now they have to be very careful. They could just lose the game in one quick succession as it's DD Underow. Holy crap, Jabs.
Cuckoo gets rid of the DD. Okay. Yeah, no cliff. Just pop the prize, so a full set of barracks.
Wow. So well played, honestly. Like Armel 7-1 and 9. He endured a little bit of that tough early game he had, and now he's fully online. This is just really well played. That's T1. They have to be kicking themselves right now.
I swear it said that T1 didn't have glyph still, but they have this one to continue delays. Medusa's up in 20 seconds.
I think the top one of the towers died, right? When the T1s died in the reset, maybe? I'm not sure, but look at Armel's gold now, too. After one successive fight, like one huge fight like that, he's up to 8k gold. Jabs had just finished 25 before that fight, too. Up to 26 with another item, too. Like, they just got such a huge influx of items and everything. That was... I mean, picture perfect.
This is... Fnatic. I don't know
cannot
how
believe
they
that.
hit first. I cannot believe it as well. They get 2 melee barracks, 10,000 net worth lead now, and T1. I mean, they were so close. They can almost smell the flight. The tickets were about to be booked over to the major, but now you're 11,000 gold behind, and potentially soon to be playing tiebreakers if you lose this series.
And now Jabs has the Lincolns too, so they have look at the cores now. They have double Lincolns on the Ember and the Mars.
And
the
low.
Raven is at 25.
Up the high ground, Cuckoo instant rolling thunder. Look, get rid of the life for the Undying, but look at Armel, the recognition to try and deal with the backline supports. Jabs wants in, and he does just that. An Arena controlling the entrance into the fight. So T1, they have to get creative on how they're able to get on top of Raven. A second Arena to the west, just giving Raven ample time to be able to beat onto Cuckoo. A rolling thunder completely wasted. Swashbuckle down to the low ground, but Armel, godlike streak. They're back over. Carl gets a side kill, but it will not matter. Die back onto the Pangolier. It's only the 2 survivors, Gabby and Carl, limp out to safety, and Fnatic again, another successful team fight.
Maybe I'm getting a little tunnel vision by Jabs, but I feel like he's doing so much work of splitting these fights up that allows this to go well. Like, he dies, he eats a Reaper and ends up dying, but my god, both of his arenas, like, really well placed. His spears too, just eating spells left and right every time to just allow Raven to do exactly what he's been doing now these last few fights, being able to hold his ground. Armel also being a bright nuisance in the fight, just jumping back and forth. Really well played from Fnatic now.
Yeah, for Fnatic, how these fights to go perfectly for them is Blink in, Stone Gaze, and Pango roll, and everyone just runs at the Drow. Everyone runs at the Drow through BKB, through whatever, and waste the arenas. But as soon as those BKBs expire, you've got second arena, and now you've even got Aegis for free, along with everything else you could potentially want.
I believe it was a full Ags for the... Who'd they end up giving that to?
Even
I would imagine they give it a Raven. Yeah, good. And he's huge now. Like, now he's beyond huge. Like, he's gonna easily kill the Medusa, easily kill anybody. Which he kind of was already, with the backup of his 2 cores.
Oh, they got a Harpy as well. Very cool.
Yeah.
So that was another thing I wanted to mention, is that Fnatic are continuing the discipline from them to take fights around their vision. When you have a glass cannon type of hero like the Drow, who your game relies on not getting jumped and being able to stand your ground from afar and siege. That is why this Drow vs Medusa matchup works so well. And now the Harpy is going to further enable this.
Yeah, and they don't have the same ways to gap close as easy on the Drow anymore. Like Pango, he's starting to get so squishy. He only has 1 ult. You know, the Mars has this refresher that he picked up at such a good timing. He's always got that second set of go that he can do with his team. Yeah, this is...
Take a look at the net worth
Jabs.
disparison. Look at Cuckoo's net worth, and then look at Jabs' net worth.
Yeah, multiple fights in a row. This Jabs really kicking it off. Stop Gabby. Hasn't spent his gold. He has a lot of gold on this Medusa. How much gold do they actually hang on to on all their heroes? Hang on to a lot. So even though it says like 18,000 or whatever disparity, it's actually more than that because Gabby's holding 8,000 gold.
Yeah. Wonder if
Jabs
he's
is ready.
considering
Oh, the Harpy.
What Gabby just bought?
Look at it.
Okay.
Look at it. Look at the Harpy.
Oh no, dude. No. Jabs onto the Medusa. An instant nightmare. Cuckoo's going to look to fall up with the second arena, but the mana, it's being
Look at
burnt. The
Gabby.
health is being burnt as well. Raven just freely sieging on the backline. Now Gabby's going to look to buy back to rejoin the fight. Fnatic, they need to get out. They need to avoid the Medusa. She wants revenge. Stone Gaze into the middle. Jabs limping away. Look at the bulwark. Look at the healers. Jabs is not even dead just yet. Zephyr's trying to blink to the backline, but Raven, Gabby's in the middle. At BKB, Gabby, they need to be able to prevent the marksmanship proc, but once again, pinned to the tree. They're going to focus the Medusa. She just bought back. If she dies, that's game.
Oh
Gabby's gone. Fnatic have such a huge window to take this game and potentially the series.
They're just resetting the Drow's positioning, and I mean, the Harpy, but Jabs, honestly, all Jabs. All the clutch fights, it's been the combo of Armel plus Jabs. Like, Armel is just distracting, always dealing with these supports, while Jabs gets the crucial targets. The double spear, double arena on the Medusa. And then somehow he lit. I cannot even understand how he lives. He resets himself out of the fight from the double heals. And then he's there for a follow-up spear. So well played. And yeah, 80 seconds no Dusa. It's go time. 2 minutes on Aegis.
Now, oh, the beacon! Nerf this creep! Get it out of Dota. Don't make it this busted. As Fnatic get another pick off, and now they're diving tier 4 towers. Cole, he's not as tanky as what he was prior in game 3. He'll make it back to the safety of his fountain. Okay, a Fiend's Grip, it's a long enough duration, but Armel doesn't even die throughout it. They're lacking the damage without the Dusa. 4 gone, no buybacks. Ravens onto the throne. And Fnatic, what was that?
What a comeback. That was an... I mean, it wasn't like out of Realm's reach with this like 9k gold lead, but it was really starting to feel it. But man, that was such good plays about recognizing how to take fights. And like Jabs' buyback around that mid fight, it felt like that was everything. That arena, that refresher, him just catching out the Bane and then follow-up succession to just get on top of this Necrophos. Perfect understanding of who he needs to go for. That was so well played and so well composed that they keep themselves calm and keep themselves like, hey guys, it's fine. You know, we have Drow versus Medusa matchup. Ember still got this like limited disable he's playing versus Armel ends 11-1 and 14. Drow 8-2 and 9. And this is a game that felt like they were struggling for a lot of it, and it doesn't look like it now when you look at those scores.
It just puts us in a perfect position. We all want tiebreakers. It puts so much on the line, and now we get that. There's guaranteed tiebreakers with Polaris versus T1. There's a potential for SMG to join them as well, but Jabs he's always been that question mark, I think, for a lot of people. Moving over to position 3, he's been inconsistent, hot and cold, and that game 3, my god, Jabs just proving that he's still the caliber of player that he is. Armel as well in the rough lane. I think you could single out a lot of people on Fnatic and what they did perfectly to bring them back into that game 3. And in the end, they'll be able to take this series, forcing out tiebreakers. What a series it is. We're going to send it over break, and when we come back, the panel will have a lovely time breaking this one down.
An absolutely amazing performance from Fnatic in that game number 3. We'll talk about it in a little bit about what this does mean for T1 and Fnatic themselves. But first, let's break down this game. And I want to know, T1, they looked great in the early game. It was going all in favor for them. How? And then how did they end up losing that lead to Fnatic?
That's a long
There's
tail.
a lot of information in that one.
Hey, we've heard a lot of long tails from about your Meepo, so you know
Yeah.
you can do a long tail about this game too.
But you
Oh,
only
I
get
thought you were going to
10
say, so
minutes.
you can rest. I will tell the
Oh.
long tail. No, fine. Okay. So it all started back 5 years ago when they nerfed Meepo. I think like T1 had this really strong timing where their Necro was pretty much near unkillable. I actually wasn't sure about the Radiance pickup, I'll be real, because I was like, oh yeah, it gives evasion now. It builds with Talisman, so it's gonna be pretty good. But then like Drow has True Strike with her ult, so it's kind of like, I don't know how much I felt it doing.
Yeah.
But they were strong, right? It was really hard to kill this Necro, it was really hard to kill this Medusa. And then they had the Roche fight. And it just was not executed well. Jabs not only got the last hit of the Roche, but he got the Aegis, and it felt like after that moment, it was just like this turning point. I think it was like item timings from Fnatic, getting things like refresher on Jabs and all this. Like, it just made it so hard to fight.
It did feel like they built this draft that eventually, when it came online, they would be able to turn this game around. Like, I think a lot of the decision for T1, like, they had this Necro... I really liked the Necro Pango draft because it gave them this flexibility. I don't think initially they were necessarily planning to do Necro mid. I think they saw this Ember and they're like, yeah, this is the counter pick. They gave Ember a really rough early game. They come out of the lanes ahead with multiple lanes being won. They put a Dusa, they're looking at Snowball. Issue is, Necro mid at some point does start to fall off, and there's not any, like, mid item. It's a Necro where you really feel like you're carrying the game. Like, he goes for the raid. He's trying to go super greedy and high impact, but you're still a Necro end of the day. You offer more utility to your team rather than, like, scaling. And that ultimately was, I think, part of doing is just that they hit this point where Necro can't get them over the hump to win the game.
So then was this a combination of them not executing the timings right, or was it more down to losing that Roche fight, or was there more they could have done to still stay contested in this game?
I think if they'd won that Roche fight and got the Aegis, they probably would have won the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like a crucial moment. There was some shaky stuff before, I think, but overall, I think they were pretty much in control.
What do you think they could have done after that Roche fight to still stay in the game? Or there really wasn't a lot. It really was just downhill from there.
It's tough. I think maybe they just, at some point they just lacked damage. Like I was seeing these fights where it didn't really feel like Medusa was killing people on her own. You've got a Mars who can block her damage coming out, and then you have like Cuckoo offlane Pengo. He's itemizing for utility as well. Have these like defensive type items here. I think it was like Lotus and stuff. Like I think mid Necro is trying to get some damage, but it's very like it's slow damage over time. And against an IO, you're not bursting anyone. It's not killing anyone because IO's like the king of sustain. Like you're just gonna be able to heal up those heroes and kind of outlast. Necro wants to play these long drawn out fights, but so does IO. So I think in some ways the Necro just never was killing people later on.
I do actually want to talk about the IO a little bit more because DJ is someone we see a lot more on playmaking heroes. I mean, you guys always hyped up his hood. And for you, Sheep, when you saw it, you're like, I don't know how I feel about DJ being on IO.
I did not say that.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Okay.
that was,
I said that.
That was
Oh,
far.
okay.
That was
I was
far.
like, someone definitely said it.
I think it was it's a game 3 decider in a
Yeah.
best of 3 between DJ and I. It's like maybe you're not letting him shine as much.
Yeah.
He made some clutch plays. Like I think he, come mid to late game, like he was doing some DJ things, but it's not like the flashy like high damage output 4 position play that you're used to seeing from like he's historic, like his hoodwink more recently. Golden Days like played like 4 position enigmas, shakers. Like those are more the DJ heroes. It paid off, but I still, for me personally, like I'm like, oh god, that DJ IO in a game 3 decider. Ooh, okay.
Mhm. Is there anyone that stood out for you that you really enjoyed in this game, Sheep?
Honestly,
from T1. If you
no,
want to.
I want to say Jabs because I think like after that Roche, like specifically from that Roche onwards, he was just like clutching everything. His
Yeah.
arenas were fantastic. Like at the end, we saw him hit that double arena on the Medusa and just like completely walled her out of the fight. And like she bought back and came back in, but like once again she just gets like speared. Like he's just controlling her up so well. It was so impressive, which is funny because I thought he griefed the first half of the game.
Yeah.
It was like I think the decision to go armlet was good. I actually thought it was like really smart because we were talking in the panel during the draft like, oh, they're kind of lacking damage. Like their 2 supports are pretty like low damage. It's kind of like So I thought the armlet like compensated for that really well. He would TP in to like top and defend his tower there and like do so much damage, kill the Necros. Like yeah, let's go. Then he went BKB, and I was like, but why? And because we saw them smoke as 5 on Fnatic and invade the enemy's triangle, but then like the Pango just rolled, caught them out, and like they died, they fed, like Jabs died. There was another fight in their jungle where T1 invaded and Jabs like didn't even get his BKB off, and he just like died from like stone gaze and grip and stuff, and roll. And I'm like, this seems like so poor because when he did get his blink, he destroyed. Like he did so much with his blink.
For T1, even though they lose this series, are there a lot of highlights for you guys that you're like, hey, in their next series, try, do these things still, or anything that you're like, okay, you guys really need to work on this. This looked awful this series. It's hard, right? It feels hard to sort of criticize a team like T1.
I mean, this game, there was the one big Roshan fight. I think one of the things that maybe their draft sometimes is hard. Like it feels like they're just playing without like these vision heroes, and it it makes things hard for them. Like some of their like these games going late, it just feels like they're playing a bit blind. But all in all, I mean, they took 3 games against Fnatic and Boom, even though they lost both series. I think T1 have shown those 3 teams to me are all pretty neck and neck. Obviously, Boom I think slightly above the other 2, but even though somebody has to lose the series, I think T1 they're still T1.
It was a really good third game. Like I really enjoyed watching that one.
Yeah, that was a great series.
Well, Fnatic did come out as victors, which means we get to have a winners interview with them. And joining us is going to be Januel.
I can hear everyone shouting. Hello.
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 How are you guys feeling after getting a win over T1?
Feeling okay. Good.
Yeah? Only okay?
Yeah, because the game is so long and we need to wait. But it's part of it.
What do you think were some big issues for you guys in Game 2 that led to that loss?
Maybe the somehow draft, or maybe we can change our item on that game.
And what did you guys do to sort of come back in Game 3, mentally reset?
We just talk about the game and like prepare more while they're still busy.
What's going on there? Here, a little laughing. You guys
You wanna
celebrating?
see?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. Let's see.
I'll show you.
All right, all right.
Wait. Kinda messy, ah?
No problem, no problem.
Ay.
There's the team. That's the team. I mean, it seems like everyone's in good spirits.
Like,
I love this.
What are you laughing about? What are you guys talking about?
Secret.
Okay, okay. And you mentioned like the game through was a bit hard, like having those delays. Do you feel like at some point fatigue is setting in, or what made game 3 kind of tough for you, even though you got the win in the end?
I'm not sure if I can actually say it, but like we just have to be patient this game, I think, because we really have the better late game, and I think we just played better because we punish more.
Awesome. You guys had already previously qualified for the major. I am curious though, like now you take down T1. How are you feeling about where your team is at, and how do you think what are your expectations going into that Sweden major?
Still nothing.
No
We
expectations.
just we just wanna play with Boom again.
Okay.
That's hype. I wanted to ask, have you been scrimming with Arc Warden? Like, what's your guys' opinion on that hero? Are you
Don't say.
We played it a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I was like curious because obviously the hero got like nerfed a bit and like no one else is really playing it. So I'm assuming because you picked it, you consider the hero to be strong. I was wondering if you had like any more information about it to share.
Yeah. If we have more information in that, but it's
It's
a polo thing. It's a Raven thing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us, and I also want to give a big compliment to the hair. It looks great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes. And excited to see you hopefully play against Boom. All right, it sounds like you're
Yeah,
excited too.
Yep.
Also, thank you so much for joining us.
Good luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. It feels like Fnatic right now. We're in a really good place with the team. You can just consistently hear the chuckles behind the camera there. Poor Januel getting a little bit distracted.
But they're laughing at us.
They were. They definitely were.
Yeah,
They definitely
They're
were.
hearing us like flame stuff.
They're like, these guys are
idiots.
so stupid. They have no idea what they're
Like,
talking about. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
They're like, how could they not pick up on this? This is obviously why we picked this hero.
I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm talking about. Why am I here?
Why are we here?
Yeah.
That's the question. No, it's not really. The question is that I want to have a look at these standings so we can see that T1 and Polaris are tied, which means there is going to be a tiebreaker between the two of them for who takes the last spot at the major. This is
Possibly the three of them.
I'm getting there, okay? All right. You're jumping the gun a little
I'm
bit here,
saying-
guys.
Fnatic are jumping the gun. They assume they're getting a rematch against Boom. They may not.
That's also
But sorry,
true,
Nye.
too. No, it's fine. I was going on a whole monologue here, but just absolutely taken away. No, T1 Polaris is definitely going to be tiebreaker between those two there. But there is also the potential for a tie with SMG getting in the mix there. As we look at tomorrow's schedule, we will